Anthony Darden lived for 2 years as a homeless crack addict. Most of the time, he lived in a drug-induced fog. Sometimes he would walk for miles to go to a hospital emergency room just to get out of the rain.
And I would go in the bathroom, stay for a while, till I got dried off. Then I'd go in there and sit with other people, like I was there with somebody.
Anthony took me to where he spent most nights living on the streets of Goldsboro, North Carolina. When you're in that drug-induced state and you're homeless, do you think about the hopelessness of your situation, or do you just think about that next high?
Well, you're kind of thinking about different things. The addiction making you thinking about the next high, but at the same time, by the time I began to be homeless, I'm in a state, it's not fun no more.
Anthony's life seemed destined for trouble, even from the very beginning. He was born in a health clinic to a teenage mother. His grandmother helped to raise him, but when she died, he was just 9 years old.
And I can remember going at the back of the house, sitting down crying for hours, not knowing what I was gonna do.
Anthony's mother assumed responsibility for her son, but in reality, she couldn't adequately provide for his needs. Anthony remembers the night when he was 11, and an older male cousin came over and sexually molested him. He never told anyone what happened that night.
And I always wonder, why me? Why did God allow this to happen to me?
Anthony never knew his father, so he began hanging around his uncles who all used drugs. By the time he was 14, he was smoking marijuana. By 18, he'd dropped out of school and was snorting cocaine and drinking alcohol almost every day.
It medicated the pain. It made me forget about the things that was internally eating at me.
One night, Anthony confronted a drug dealer whom he'd stolen from, and that decision nearly cost him his life.
Before I could get up to him, he hollered, and a bunch of his other buddies that sold drugs started chasing me down the block, shooting at me. And I kept running because I didn't have no gun on me to shoot back. When I was running, I was thinking, this is it. I'm getting ready to die.
Anthony jumped behind a bush to hide.
And they was just walking around the house, cursing, mad because they couldn't see me, because they knew I should have been there. And they walked right up to me and were looking right at me, but they couldn't see me. All I knew is God made it where they couldn't see me. And that right there was like a turning point too, because I knew I was dead that night.
But that wasn't enough to make Anthony stop using drugs. He started dealing at this trailer park, which at the time was known as a haven for drug users. It was here that Anthony also thought about ending his life.
I said, well, God, if you don't help me, if you're real, if you don't help me, I'm gonna end it all. I'm gonna go get my pistol. I'm just gonna kill myself. Nobody don't care about me no way. I kept thinking about that till I finally drifted off to sleep.
When Anthony woke up, he says something had changed.
I began to hear a voice telling me to stop running from me and the purpose I have for you. I knew if I didn't come that time, I wouldn't be here today. And I just started talking to God. And I told him, I said, Lord, if you're real, I need you to help me not to get high no more. And if you do it, I'll tell everybody what you done for me, and I'll do what you tell me to do.
Anthony went to rehab, and 3 weeks later, surrendered his life to God.
Well, I remember confessing that, Lord, I'm a sinner. I do believe that Jesus died on the cross for my sins. And I asked you, Lord Jesus, to come into my heart and save me. And I commit my life to you from this day forward. I knew I'd never get high again. I knew I would never have to go back to another treatment program because the desire for drugs and alcohol had left.
Today, Anthony is married and has been drug-free for 15 years.
When nobody else could help me, God did. God reached down and he touched my life. And no matter what you've been through, no matter what you've done, God is waiting for you to just come to him. He said, come unto me, all ye that are heavy laden and are overburdened, and I will give you rest. So I'm resting today. I'm resting in the Lord today.